Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Josh, and today is my April TBR. Now I say TBR, but to be honest, I'm very indecisive about what I want to read this month. I have this whole stack of books that I had set up like a couple months ago in anticipation for this month because I'm thinking that far ahead. And then I have since started to think there are a lot of NetGalley books I need to read and want to read. So now I'm thinking I might just spend the entire month reading NetGalley. And then on top of that, there's also a Tor.com read-along, rather, happening. And part of me kind of wants to participate in that, but I don't know. I feel like all three of these possible stacks of books could be what I end up reading. I'm only going to give you really one of those stacks, which is to say the NetGalley books I'm thinking of reading. And if I happen to fit in some Tor.com, it would probably be a selection of a bigger pile of books that I might read. But let's start actually with the one book I know for sure that I'm certainly going to be reading in April. So first up is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. This is book 3 of the Poppy War trilogy, and it is also the third book in the read-along that we're doing, hosted by Eric for the Broken Spine. Our live show will probably already have aired when this comes up, I think. Our live show for the second book is going to be March 27th, I think at 8 or 8:30 p.m. Eastern. This one has not yet to be determined yet. I think it's going to be the last Sunday of the evening around the same time, 8 p.m. or so. I'm excited for this. I've already finished book 2. I'm eager to keep it going, and this series is really, really good, and I do not expect it to disappoint me. It makes me feel very strong emotions, both about the characters and the writing sometimes, but overall, it is extremely good book. It is an extremely good book. On to the books that I'm thinking of reading. I've actually read a lot of NetGalley arcs this last month in March. The ones I'm thinking of reading are going to be kind of dependent on the ones I don't finish this month. But first things first is I actually know I want to read probably all of my Tor books in general, because I have 3 I need to read, one of which I plan on reading before March is over, so that shouldn't be a problem. But The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia is the one that I got granted a while back I need to read. I think I'll like this, but honestly, I just don't know what to expect. The cover is giving me certain vibes, and I really have no idea what the book's about. But I'm adding it, I'm committing to it. Part of the reason I want to get through all of my Tor books here is because Tor has rejected me over and over again, it seems like, for all the major books I'm requesting, which is fair. I have 3 books by them I have yet to review for quite a while. And so those are my priority books I have to get done. I can no longer, I did this to myself, but I did not get accepted for the request for Seasonal Fears. And before that, I didn't get accepted for the newest Forever Children series. And I keep getting rejected, and I can only think to myself, I did this to myself. So that's this month. That's why I want to read more NetGalley. Beyond that, I also am going to be reading A Desolation Called Peace, book 2 of the... I actually don't know what the duology is called. Or Kitty Martine. I remember we called Empire. Book 1 of the... I think it was the T. What? Like Toss something, Telskla. I don't know. Something duology. It's about this world where... It's a space opera, which is not something I usually get into because it's kind of heavy for me. And I did get a bit lost when I read this first one. But it's about this diplomat. She was or is a ambassador for her sect of this larger empire to this major empire. She goes to the main city where some larger conflict is happening. Honestly, I've forgotten the main thing. All I know is that as the ambassador, she gets copied into her brain the consciousness of another diplomat who has now died. So that's the major, I think a major plot, not necessarily plot point, but it's a major setup of the book. It's this system where you have this person who is acclimating to this new society, this new culture, who all have their own biases. And in doing so, she's also supposed to be getting connected to this new consciousness person who's in her mind in that larger dynamic from a science fiction perspective. I struggled with this one. I struggle with anything that's either high sci-fi, high fantasy, or, space opera, because it's just a lot of details. And I feel like I had the potential to really love this if I just give myself a chance, which is why I requested the second one. And that's why I'm talking about this one so much, because I do plan on reading this one too. I'm hoping to do a vlog. If it's a failure, then it's a failure and I won't post it. But I'm hoping to do a vlog where I read this one and read the sequel as well. Give a little bit of promotion of the two, and hopefully I'll enjoy it. I really want to, but I struggled the first time. But here's hoping I've grown as a reader and I'm prepared to do this. So those are 2 NetGalley. I know that was 3 books total. 2 NetGalleys that I'm thinking of reading. In addition to that, the rest I think are more going to be spur of the moment, but the ones I'm feeling compelled to read. Okay, here's one. Dark Stars, edited by John F.D. Taff. It's a collection of horror short stories with a lot of big names on it, actually, and it's an audiobook arc, so I think there's a good chance I'll listen to that. I actually, on my main TBR, the one that I originally had before I decided to go with NetGalley, have a horror anthology on there that I want to listen to, and so it makes sense that I would now, move on to this one, and so I think it fits fairly well in the idea of all the books I want to be reading, the type of books I want to read, that is to say. On top of that, I want to read at least one nonfiction. I think there's a good chance I'll end up reading Beloved Beast. It's a book, I think, about environmentalism and animals, and I guess the preservation of animals or something of that along that nature. It's a science book. When I got granted is also an audiobook that I got granted a while back, and I need to read it, and I want to fit at least one science book in this month. So I think that seems to be one of the best ones to fit here. In addition to that, I'm really intrigued by The Library by Andrew Pettigrew and author Der Ritterbrunn, which is just a history of the library, a book that I requested back in November. When I first heard about it, I know her name. It's right there. A Book Olive, yes. Olive from Book Olive. I blame her because she got me excited about it. I'm still really intrigued by the concept, the history of libraries. Like, that's something that's hard to say no to. So that is a big one I'll probably try to read. And then another one that I've been wanting to read but haven't gotten to is A Fatal Thing Happened on the Way to Form, which is a nonfiction book that's somewhat comedic and is meant to be, I don't know, the subtext here is a murder in ancient Rome. An entertaining and informative look at the unique culture of crime, punishment, and killing in ancient Rome. I just thought it would be an interesting read. And since it's comedic, I assume it's like more lighthearted than like a traditional history book. It would give me like a hint of history with a little bit of fun mixed in. So that's one I've been wanting to fit. I think it's a good chance I fit that in this coming up month. The more I talk about it, the better I feel about reading some of these. Reading NetGalley over the other ones. And then beyond that, I would say I'm going to leave it to a little bit of uncertainty. There are a few novellas in here that I want to read. There are several comics, or should I say graphic novels, I've yet to read, and there's a chance that I might end up reading those. But I had hoped, I think, do that for like a vlog, and since I'm already planning to do the vlog for the Arcady Martine series, then there are a few others that are more light, so I may end up jumping onto just because I want something that takes a little bit of the little brain activity. One example of that would be The Blizzard Party by Jake Livings. This is one that sounded intriguing, but I haven't heard anything about it. The reviews seem mediocre from the reviews that I could find. It's like a 1970s period piece. I think it's 1970s. I don't know if it's drama or thriller, maybe a little bit of thriller mystery. Let me just click on it and see what the genre says. A panoramic novel set in New York City during the catastrophic blizzard of February 1978. That gives you the gist of it. Cover sort of implies what I just told you. It seemed exciting when I first requested it, then I got sort of lost interest in it. It depends how my reading is going, right? How I'm feeling, because I feel feeling overwhelmed with some of my reads. That's one of those books that I might pick up because I want something lighter to keep me entertained. This year, I feel like I've been reading more, and part of that is I'm able to recognize when a book is sort of weighing me down, and I need something, not necessarily to replace it, just sort of in the middle of the reading, so I don't get into that slump. And then there are several other ones that I want to read, but I just requested them, and I feel bad committing to them this early. Some of them actually come out in May, and so I may end up just waiting, and yeah, I won't mention them because I really want to, though. I mean, one of them I will say is Quickie Mezzi's new book, which I am really intrigued to read, but I mean, it's 1 month away anyways. But those are the books I'm thinking of reading from this collection. Given how my feelings tend to ebb and flow, there's a good chance that by the time I finish the ones I mentioned here, I'll want to move on to something from my TBR, which I just reorganized my TBR shelf, and it's part of the reason now I'm kind of feeling drawn back to pulling books from it again, because I want to read those as well. There's too many books in the world, and not enough time, and not enough me's. But I mentioned tour.com, and I did mention 3 tour books, but it turns out that not all tour books are tour.com. With that in mind, I have this stack here that I may or may not end up doing a vlog or trying to participate in the week-long tour.com vlog. It will depend on how I feel about the NetGalley reads that I'm doing, how I'm coming along. Like, if I end up not feeling I remember we called Empire again, I may end up DNFing it and, calling it a day, saying it's not for me, and then instead do a vlog for this. This is my closest backup right now, because I'm not going to read all this shit. Although, I mean, I probably could get through a lot of them in 1 week. But the idea to be able to just, randomly pull from it and have some fun. That's an option. All these beautiful. You can freeze the frame if you're interested in seeing what they are. They're all really tiny novellas. That's what I'm thinking. I'm rambling. This video was a bit of a mess because I'm not entirely sure what I want to read. But those are all the ones I'm thinking of approaching. Whether or not it's feasible, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, why don't you give me just a stack of books, keep it simple. And as always, have a great day, stay safe, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.